my boss was like, hey, Red, we just saw 5 guys run out of the door, run into the vegetation across the street and hide in the vegetation, which 90% of the time, they're not good people. Rounds hit me from the front on my gun, off my weapon. I had my left night vision tube shot off all in that first initial volley. And then when I turned to move back, that's when I caught a round in the face from behind. The whole thing lasted about 40 minutes. So
you were on the ground for 40 minutes. Jesus, just trying to like hold on. Like your face is all messed up. Like you're shot in your arm. You're bleeding out for 40 minutes.
I'm bleeding out. Everything's good. We're packing up. We had a lot of close calls. And the last culminating thing that let me know that, hey, you're doing well is my OIC and our task unit commander came to me and said, hey, Red, you've been doing a great job. We want to get you ready for your OIC tour, so we want you to run as the ground force commander for the next mission to give you that experience and set you up, as you're moving to that next command level. So on the ground, for anybody that understands the way we work, the ground force commander is overall in charge. I had operated as a assault force commander and a mobility force commander, but the guy in charge of everything that occurs on the mission is the ground force commander.
Okay.
So it's the senior position for any mission on the ground.
Is that typically going to be like the lieutenant, the Navy lieutenant?
It can be a lieutenant or an 04. If it's a higher level mission, sometimes I'll just say like some of our tier 1 missions, it may be an 05.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that was going to be like, was that going to be the last mission you ran while you were in country?
It was going to be one of the last.
One of the last ones?
Yeah, we were a week from sending our first wave of guys home over a 3-week period. So we only had gear for standby, and our incoming SEAL team was supposed to get there in a couple of days, and we would have done a couple of weeks of turnover ops while we got the rest of our guys and then gone home. So so that's where we were at with everything. So on September 12th, we got word that the number 1 leader for Al-Qaeda for the Anbar province, a guy that we'd been hunting all deployment, the guy that we knew in that very first mission that led to Petty Officer Clark Swedler being killed and Senior Chief Mike Day being all shot up. That was who they were going after that night. Okay. So it was a guy we had been hunting all deployment, but had never.
What's the dude's name?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. He, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, it's okay.
But that mission popped, and I don't know, just to keep things brief.
Yeah.
I won't get into the details. We ended up going on that mission. And my boss came to me and said, hey, Red, I know we were going to run you as the GFC. We really expect this mission to be pretty hairy. He said, I'm going to run as GFC. He said, I'm going to let you run as the assault force commander for the actual target takedown. So I said, okay, roger that. Thank you. Took down the initial target. Nothing was there. Signs, but didn't encounter any people.
Okay. You hit a building that just wasn't anyone in it?
Correct. There were signs that people had been there, and then when we started to search the outer courtyards and buildings, we started to find bomb-making equipment, weapons, things like that.
Yeah.
So, but we thought it was just going to be a quiet night. It's like 2 a.m., EODs, grabbing all this shit. They were going to blow it up. And we were pretty close to calling for extract, I believe, at this point. And I was just sitting on the porch with the guys while the external security team finished their sweep and then clack off the charge. When the snipers were like, hey, we got a whole lot of activity on another house about 150 yards away. My boss was like, hey, Red, we just saw 5 guys run out of the door, run into the vegetation across the street and hide in the vegetation, which 90% of the time when people run and hide in the middle of the night after blacked out helicopters come in, they're not good people.
No.
So we had success wrapping people up like that. So he said, hey, I want you to take your team. Let's go up into that vegetation. Let's wrap these guys up.
Yeah.
So we had a gunship overhead, pushed them, asked, hey, can you see anything? No, we don't see anything. Just looks like they're laying there. We pushed through the vegetation. Those 5 individuals, so our leader had been in the building we were in earlier and went to this other house to sleep for the night. and his security detail had created an ambush line in that vegetation, probably thinking that we either would have driven in. So the road was right across the street from this ambush line, and there was also a big field, totally open desert, where you could have landed multiple helicopters. So their ambush was well staged because they could have caught vehicles or the helicopter as they came in. We ended up coming up behind them, not realizing it. These guys were disciplined enough to not engage us, although we got separated. So 3 guys went to the west. We ended up pushing out to the northeast corner, and we made the decision, hey, let's link back up, and then we'll push in from the front, from the north. But it was at that point now we had actually walked into the kill zone. Jeez. And I was out front with our interpreter, and now there were 6 of us because the other 3 were off to the west.
They were just disciplined and didn't move while you guys were walking around.
That's right.
Okay, because they hadn't been compromised or found yet.
Yeah, super disciplined because we're crunching around in thick vegetation. I mean, I couldn't see shit. It was so dense. It almost reminded me like bamboo. So my nods, it was just a blur.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't see anything.
What kind? Did you have just PVS 31s?
PVS 15s.
Oh, 15s at the time?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I guess it makes sense. You didn't have 31s back then, I guess, maybe.
No, they would have come a little later.
Man, if you had 31s, it would have changed the whole game, man. The white phosphor.
Well, there's a lot of lessons learned that night. I mean, lessons learned are, the hardest lessons learned are learned in blood. We've always said it. And we conducted things based on our tactics and what we had done in the past. The only thing I'll say for anybody who's an operator out there is when we were crunching through that vegetation in the beginning, right before we got separated, my spider sense was on fucking fire.
Yeah.
And I remember I should have talked to my team leader and said, hey man, what are you thinking? And instead I chalked it up to fear. And I was like, hey, this is just fear. Just swallow it down and continue to execute. We've done this before. This is how we've done it before. Yeah. I should have paused and evaluated based on that. And we didn't, and we walked into an ambush.
Yeah.
So I will say, always listen to your sixth sense. It doesn't mean you stop. Hey man, grab some of your senior dudes and be like, what are your thoughts right now? Is this fear or is this something we should reevaluate? It definitely wasn't fear. I feel like the sixth sense was kicking.
It's tough, man, because like when you think back, it's like, okay, right now, you knowing what you know, like, yeah, you would have probably made a different decision potentially.
Yeah.
But you made the best decision that at the time, with the knowledge you had, what you thought was the right decision.
Based on our tactics that we had used, proven over a very eventful combat deployment.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing. It's like,
and the gunship didn't see anything.
And that's another thing. You were talking to them the whole time, and they were scanning the whole field and didn't see anything.
Yep.
Other than
they could see the guys.
Okay,
but they couldn't identify any weapons or anything. And they couldn't see the additional guys. That's what's kind of weird. So we do wonder, did they build something were they smart enough to try and reduce their signature with overhead? I mean,
that's tough to say. Yeah. Cause like I would have been in the same,
cause we know we only saw like 4 or 5, but we know there was probably 12 to 15 in that ambush line.
Yeah.
Once we got engaged. 2 PKM machine guns.
Jesus. Yeah. Cause like I would have been relying on their ability to see with thermals from the sky.
I was talking to them.
Yeah.
So no, they could see the guys and say, hey, cause that's when they told us you're going to miss them.
Yeah.
So that's when we made our turn, which caused us to separate. And then we had to regroup and that's how things happen. But our medic was the last one to step out of the vegetation. He literally stepped on an enemy fighter who was in that corner. And the guy tried to turn to engage him, and our medic shot him. And that's what initiated the ambush.
So the medic shot the fighter, and then that initiated the ambush?
Yep. And he came out. Our medic came out. He was the first one shot, took a round right below the knee.
Jesus.
I was further down at this point and started shooting. Well, I started yelling at first, because our guys to the west were directly in line with where we were shooting.
Oh,
so I'm worried about a blue on blue. So I actually started yelling ceasefire, because I actually initially thought that we were shooting at each other. As the fire picked up, I quickly realized this is crazy. We're taking fire from these guys.
Yeah.
So then I started shooting, and I said, hey, make sure you know what you're shooting at, which was really hard to do in this because these guys were back in the vegetation. We couldn't see them. All you could see is muzzle flash.
Yeah.
But a PKM sounds a lot different than a M4.
Yeah.
So they were chewing at us. So Matt Roberts ran forward and grabbed our medic and started dragging him back. And that's when Matty got shot 3 times by one of the machine guns, 2 in the leg, 1 in the arm. Matt's a great big guy, about your size.
Yeah.
And managed to drag himself and Luke back to, there was a tractor tire behind us, about 15 yards back. And there was one tree, and DJ fell behind the tree. The other guys, my team leader and our interpreter, went behind the tire, and I was still out front laying down fire when I got shot. I got caught across the body armor, and I didn't know it was 2 rounds at the time, but was shot in the arm. I thought my arm was shot off.
Jesus.
Shot again, decided I need to move back to the tire where those guys were, and that's when I caught a round in the face. It hit me from behind. So I had rounds hit me from the front on my gun, off my weapon. I had my left night vision tube shot off, all in that first initial volley. And then when I turned to move back, that's when I caught a round in the face from behind.
You know what size round?
Yeah, PKM.
It was a PKM round?
Yeah. So it struck me right in front of the ear, went through my face, exited the right side of my nose, took off most of my nose, blew out my right cheekbone. What was left of the cheekbone broke and kicked out to the right. It vaporized my orbital floor. It broke all the bones above it broke the head of my jaw, shattered my jaw to my chin, and it knocked me out. So the guy saw me
I would
fall.
imagine.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, like, how would you not be completely incapacitated by something that traumatic? I can't imagine anyone staying conscious for that.
Well, what was funny is afterwards I was convinced I never lost consciousness, but that's kind of an interesting story. I didn't realize I was knocked out. There was no part of me that was like, oh, what happened? To me, there was a stream of consciousness that just, hey, I got shot and now I'm awake, and I figured out, I will admit
something
it kind of took a
wrong.
second. Yeah, I could tell I was super messed up.
Yeah.
And I knew I'd been shot in the arm, and I remember reaching over and I couldn't feel my arm, which is why I thought my arm had been shot off. It killed all the nerves. I had no use of the nerves in my arm, and I might have been laying on it. I don't know, but I couldn't feel it.
Yeah.
And I was laying kind of flat on my back at this point, and this gunfight's happening over me.
Jesus, man. Where was everybody else? Was anyone
about 15
returning?
yards behind me. Oh, yeah, they were returning
They
fire.
were returning fire?
Yeah, I mean, it is all hell is broken loose.
Okay. Was the gunship shooting anybody?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, they couldn't. I'm only 45 feet from the machine gun that has me pinned down.
Damn, there's no way they can't drop.
So DJ would later say that on the Sean Ryan show, and DJ went on to serve at our Tier 1 unit and saw a decent amount of combat after that, and said that night, that gunfight by far was the most violent gunfight he's ever been in.
So DJ Shipley even said that was the worst firefight that he experienced there?
Intense, violent, aggressive firefight he was ever in his entire career.
And it's at 3:00 in the morning.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, I'm pinned down out front now, recognized like I'm super messed up. But I also knew that the guys couldn't come get me because we're in the middle of this big firefight.
Yeah.
So I remember, I imagine it was over the radio in my mind. And I think in the book I originally wrote that I yelled out to the guys, but I don't know how that would have been possible with the gunfire and everything happening. So I'm thinking maybe I came across the radio and said to my team lead, like, hey man, how long to the medevac? And he said, Red, you're still alive? And I was like, yes, how long to the medevac? Because I knew I was super messed up. I couldn't get a tourniquet on my arm. I had tried. I think I had lost too much blood. We'll fast forward. My team leader, recognizing I was still alive, requested a fire mission. But the gunship denied it initially. They said, you guys are too close. You got to figure out a way to move back. And he was like, there's thousands of yards of empty desert. I got multiple guys messed up. Red's pinned down out front. So he requested, probably 5 minutes went by, requested another one. They said no. So finally, after probably another 5 minutes, the whole thing lasted about 40 minutes. He
so you were on the ground for 40 minutes. Jesus, just trying to like hold on. Like your face is all messed up.
Out,
like you're shot in your arm. You're bleeding out for 40 minutes.
I'm bleeding out.
It's a good thing that they didn't hit an artery.
It's
Because you would have been done in like 90 seconds.
Yeah. No, it's a miracle. The amount of blood I lost, doctor said it's a miracle. I mean, I would need 8 blood transfusions over the 96 hours from the time I got medevac. The whole thing's kind of a miracle in my opinion. I mean, that I managed to take 2 rounds. I took a round in my lower bicep and I took a round on the inside of my forearm. That didn't, like you said, that didn't sever an artery. I mean, I lost a lot of blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, an artery I would have been done.
They've been done, yeah.
And the fact that I took a round in the face that did a ton of damage. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but it wasn't like catastrophic, life ending.
Right.
Which is pretty unbelievable. I don't know many people who
there aren't a whole lot of
have
us
been shot in the face and
survived.
lived
and had the outcome that I've had, which is amazing. I took a round off my right side plate. I took a round off my helmet in the fight. So at some point during the gunfight, I took my helmet off. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I took a round through it on the ground. So I have my helmet that has a round through it.
Jesus.
I took a round off my right side plate while on the ground also, which I normally don't wear I normally didn't wear side plates on assaults because the reason being I wanted to be lighter and be able to move faster. I would wear them for mobility so this is where we have a little bit of leeway in special operations.
Yeah.
You can, you obviously have to wear your front and rear plates, but it's optional for side plates.
Yeah.
And I normally only wear them on mobility to give me more IED protection. But that night, something said to me, wear your side plates, and I wore them that night. And I took a round right off my right side plate, which would have blown out my kidney, spine.
That saved your life.
That saved my life.
So they were trying to call for fire. They're trying to get a fire mission from this bird, and they denied them 3 times over the course of 41 minutes.
Yeah, the third time when my team leader called, he basically said, hey, look, if you don't bring this fire mission in, there's not going to be anybody left. He said, we're running out of ammo. I got guys bleeding out. So it was finally at that point that they relented. And he told them how to conduct it, which was pretty impressive, how he thought and approached it. And they brought in the first fire mission, 40 millimeter, and he called out to me, hey, Red, stand by, incoming. And I remember I don't know, it's still dark.
Yeah.
You can't see anything, but I heard the gun go off, boom, 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 boom. And then there's a delay, because you're waiting. So
for the impacts.
1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. And I remember it impacting in front of us, like dirt and debris going all up over us.
Yeah.
But that machine gun went cold. And the fighter behind it immediately started crying out in pain. And gun went cold. He's crying out in pain. Allah Akbar.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, stand by. And next rounds came in. Somewhere in the middle of my team leader ran out and got me and dragged me back to the tire. And that's when he got a tourniquet on my arm.
So he ran out and got you after those first
couple of fires. He exposed himself. I personally, to this day, feel like he should get a Navy Cross. It was downgraded to a Silver Star. I still think he deserves that.
Yeah, that's great risk to your own life.
He managed the gunfight. He called in he was our senior man running the gunfight.
Yeah.
He was on the radio because I was incapacitated. He was he coordinated the closest fire mission ever executed in the Iraq War. And he was the one that ran out and got me. I mean, I owe my life to him, and got the tourniquet on my arm. And so
he didn't know for sure if everybody was dead out there yet. Like he was just, this is my one chance to go between fire missions to come out there, snag him, pull. I mean, I'm guessing he probably grabbed you by the back of your plate carrier,
dragged me back.
And dragged. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's like you're risking it, man, because like you don't know if everybody out there's dead yet. You know what I mean? Like so,
and they weren't. We ended up. There was still sporadic fire. We ended up bringing in. I don't remember how many more 40 millimeter missions. I want to say I think 7 total before we called in the medevac, and then they smoke checked that entire field with 105.
Good.
Yeah. But yeah. Medevaced us. So kind of interesting. Years later, there were kind of gaps in the story, but I knew it was a 160th medevac crew that medevaced us.
Really?
So having some friends in the 160th, they managed to track down the crew that did it. And I remember calling the pilot. I got his number and called him and just said, "Hey man, I want to say thanks." And they didn't know if we had survived or not.
Yeah.
Like, because those guys, when they do medevacs, they just drop off and go. But they remembered that night. And then a couple years later on Veterans Day, I met the crew chiefs and the flight medic on that bird. We ended up doing this Veterans Day thing together, and they like surprised me.
That's
so
cool,
I got to
man.
hang out and drink with them. But they told me parts of the story that I didn't remember. Once again, I thought I never lost consciousness. Yeah, I was in and out of consciousness the whole time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So there were moments that occurred that I don't remember to this day. I don't remember. There was a moment that occurred when we were behind the tire where our medic Luke was like, I'm going to throw a grenade. And there was all this vegetation. Well, a key lesson you learn in jungle warfare, which I grew up in the jungles of South America, is you don't throw grenades into vegetation.
Yeah.
And I guess they said that I was laying there unconscious, and I suddenly sat up, and I was like, put that grenade away. You're going to fucking kill us all. And then I laid back down. They were like, it was the weirdest thing. Like
it was like a zombie.
Like it was years later they told me this, and I was like, what?
It's like
I don't remember that at all.
It was like a freaking zombie came back to life for just a moment and said, don't you throw that grenade.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You must have something inside you just like said,
I guess like
stop, don't do that.
One of the lessons that got embedded in me doing jungle warfare was you don't throw grenades into vegetation.
Jesus.
So there was that, and then the crew said that when they got me in the helicopter, there were 3 of us, and DJ got on with us. So me, Luke, and Maddie all shot up in the helicopter. The helicopter was configured for only 2, so they couldn't shut the doors.
Oh, wow.
So they had me sitting up against the wall next to the crew chief, and the flight medic told me, hold your hand like this. I want you to put your thumb up so I can see it.
Okay.
And I guess when I would pass out, then he'd come over and hit me and try and wake me up. And he told the crew chief, make sure he doesn't keep him awake.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember any of that. I remember when I was walking to the helicopter, the crew chiefs had like blue lights on. And I remember as I was coming up, I remember grabbing the door of the helicopter, and I could see all the blood pouring out of my face.
Oh my God.
Like I remember like that visual as I got in the helicopter. But they told us, the crew chiefs, when I hung out with them, they said they flew the rotors off to get us to Baghdad. And because the doors weren't open, it created this swirl of, we're all bleeding like stuck pigs. Maddie's shot 3 times. I'm shot, 3 times. Luke almost had his leg shot off. So they said it created this swirl of blood inside the helicopter, and like the whole helicopter was just coated in blood when they landed.
Oh my God.
So they said they were it took them like weeks to try and get all the blood out from the crevices and cracks and knobs and dials.
That is crazy.
But they said they didn't know that we survived. They thought for sure I died when they dropped us off. And they said,
and based on what they probably saw.
Yeah. So they were shocked when years later, I reached out to the pilot, who then connected me to the crew chiefs and the flight medic. So yeah, but it was neat to be able to once again come full circle and say, hey man, thank you. Like I owe my life to you guys. So yeah, I mean, obviously all kinds of other little stories in there.
Yeah.
But